because the people of America, by and large, are very intoxicated with politics. Politics is the primary God in America. Jesus Christ is not the God who sits on the hearts of your average American, unless that person actually makes a conscious decision to humble themselves and to remove themselves from general U.S. culture. General U.S. culture is highly enraptured with politics. It's all people think about. It's all people talk about. It's how people actually want to define others that they meet for the first time. An American quickly wants to know, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? Because they already have a preconceived idea of who you are, depending on what your answer is. And it also will inform interpersonal culture between persons, between organizations, even between the individual states in this country. A red state and a blue state will make a point of not getting along just because of whichever God the individual states are bowing down to. And so when you bring it all the way down to the granular level between persons, people consciously and sometimes unconsciously, they want to know about you, where your politics lies, because in America, politics says a lot about who you are, apparently. Politics tells me if you and I are going to be friends. Politics tells me as an American, this is the mindset that I'm giving to you who watch from outside the country. You may not understand how things work here. You may not understand what the motivations in the heart of your average American is, but I'm happy to tell you, as Yah has revealed it to me all this time, doing this work, because politics is so central to what people think and what people feel and what defines them. People wear their jersey colors on their hearts. They wear it on their sleeve. I'm a Republican and I'm proud, and these are my beliefs, and I'm a Democrat and I'm proud, and these are my beliefs, and you're less than nothing, and who could be a Republican and who could be a Democrat? And I'll just let you know from this objective position here that this is one of America's greatest shames. Because there was a time in the history of this country where the minds of the people in the different parties were not so cooked. That's because Americans were much better educated back then, even when they weren't much better educated back then. They didn't have Siri. They didn't have Alexa. They didn't have as many universities as we have now. They didn't have as many courses on offer as you have now. You could do agriculture. You could be a doctor. You could be a lawyer. You could be an accountant. They had a couple courses, and they were building them up. They didn't have as many social sciences. They didn't have, for instance, feminism. They didn't have the so-called patriarchy. They didn't have a lot. But one thing they had in abundance was common decency. In America back then, a person could be allowed to finish their thought. They were great orators, in case you didn't know. If you listen to the mumbled speech of an American now, you might think, oh, wow, the education system has failed them. But I encourage you to look at old footage. This is the people who actually knew how to express themselves, who gave rousing speeches at one time. They spoke clearly. They understood, for instance, the laws of conversation and debate, which is that you simply allow the other person to finish, to shape their thought without interrupting. You also don't just listen to respond. You listen to absorb, because it never occurred to them back then that they were above learning from one another. But that time has been lost. That is because America is in her descent into destruction. And one of the things that will take her into destruction is ideological grating that is rubbing against each other with a loud sound. It's not iron sharpening iron. It's actually battle axes chipping together as a sign that the nation, the so-called melting pot, is breaking down into what will one day manifest before the whole earth as civil war. But before that, public madness. And so politics is a god, but not for me. That position has already been filled since I was quite young, and I'm not soliciting anyone else to sit on the seat of godhood in my life. I already have a God, and I also tend to be not interested in politics at all because it's boring, and I know it's just a masquerade for children. But you can't tell an American that, because if you strip away politics from a lot of them, they go spinning off into the abyss of confusion. Who am I if I can't look up to Joe Biden or Obama or Clinton or Nixon or whoever was the crusted over person sitting in the Oval Office when you were a kid and you had the right to vote? The work will continue without you. The company is not going to close because you get shot as the CEO. That money is too intricate for the business to shut down just because they let you go, just because you died. You think the U.S. Senate is going to stop running just because people are getting assassinated? Not so. That's just the fulfillment of a prophecy I gave less than 2 weeks ago. America's war years are upon her. And the exact phraseology is, careers will come to a violent end and we will see obituaries. I was listening to the prophecy the other day. I said, Lord, there's something. 2 weeks. We will see obituaries in the press as careers come to an abrupt and violent end. 2 senators shot. Just like that. I think it was Minnesota, Mississippi, one of the M's. 2 weeks. Prophecy fulfilled.